lot better than stock. That feels really great. Alright everybody, if you saw the last time we were working on the Sportster, we did a big dumb and ordered the wrong exhaust for it. Turns out that not every Harley is the same as I've been led to believe. Some of them are slightly different than others, and so now we have actually found the correct Vance and Hines pipe. Gonna be getting this and this put onto the motorcycle today, and then we're also going to be doing the fuel pack tuning system. You guys saw me plug that up last time we were working on the bike, but now we're actually going to get my phone mounted up on here, go take it for a ride, and do the auto tuning session on this bike as well. Stick around, it's going to be a good one. Hey Whitney, remember when I almost threw this away?
I remember when you
the flanges.
threw it away.
Yeah, threw the flanges away. Had to go collect them out of the dumpster.
Yeah, mid-conversation you said, hold on, I need to go to the dumpster.
Yeah, and that is not a euphemism to go to the restroom. So yeah, if you guys are doing a Sportster exhaust, you gotta remember to keep these flanges from the stock system. They are not provided in these Vance and Hines pipes. They're fairly easy to put on and off. You just got the little C-clip and then the flange. But yeah, they are not provided, so make sure you keep them. All right guys, so the last exhaust we tried to put on, we were trying everything to make a certain bracket on there fit, and obviously it didn't because it's the wrong piece. This is the bracket we needed. This mates up to the bottom of the case right over here, and then you put the little derby cover over it as well. Everything has a funny name on Sportsters: derby cover, rocker box, all this other random stuff. I will say it has been pretty easy working on this bike. It's been a little bit of a learning curve over Japanese bikes and European bikes, the most things I have familiarity with. Like literally yesterday I had to do a little bit of work on the Z900 and I just like felt my way through it. Can't really do that with this bike because I don't really know how these are put together, but it's pretty straightforward. So anyways, we got this bracket here that we put on, and now we're gonna put the head pipes on right over here. They're gonna route this way, and then the pipe and the can is gonna fit right up in here. Should be a very, very simple install, but now that I've said that, Whitney's gonna start shaking her head. I have to start knocking on parts and making sure that it is gonna be an easy install. And here we go, folks. Remember, this is a giveaway bike. I don't know if I mentioned that, but go to shop.amu.co. Every dollar you spend, enter to win this Sportster. We're gonna be doing a lot of cool stuff with this bike. We're not done with our build just yet. And I think I'm gonna have to take it on track at some point because we've got sticky tires on it and better suspension. I actually wanna see if it is slower or faster than the Royal Enfield was stock. You guys let me know in the comments down below if you think this is faster or slower than the Enfield on track. I personally think it's gonna be worse. Everybody knows that Harley riders use jitterbugs for their phones.
What's a jitterbug?
The jitterbug is the old people phone from the early 2000s. I actually saw one at Walgreens when I was getting my flu shot. It's like the big red phone with like the giant buttons for old people to use.
Did you think about buying one?
Well, I was thinking about buying it because my fiance and I have been talking about getting like dumb versions of our phones because we don't want to spend time on screens as much. So I did consider it, yeah. It'll match my Sportster. Guys, just a small bit of advice. This is something I've learned doing lots of exhausts. If you're able to, and you almost always are, try to disconnect this O2 sensor that comes off of the exhaust pipe here. It's a huge pain in the butt to try to cinch this up when it's dangling and you're trying to get it onto the exhaust there. Just disconnect them. It's a very simple plug on most motorcycles. Get it off the bike completely and then reattach it onto here. You also won't twist the wires when you do that. If it's attached on one end of the bike and you're cinching this down and tightening it and torquing it down, you're actually twisting up all these wires, and that's not good for the longevity of the O2 sensor here. So just don't get lazy, remove them, do it the right way, and do it when it's off the header like this. It's just a better way to do it. So guys, if you install an exhaust like this at home, always make sure to wipe it down before you go ahead and get it started, because this is all gonna turn to like discolored gold and a lot of cool like different effects on it. And if you leave fingerprints on it, that will affect it over time. So make sure you wipe it down with some isopropyl or any other kind of cleaning agent to get all those greasiness off of it. But we've got the exhaust installed. It was definitely giant pain in the dingus. This backing plate here with the dog nut bone plate, or the bone nut dog plate, whatever it was called, instead of just having a threaded system on the back of this muffler, was a huge pain in the butt. Actually, I had to get Whitney to help me line it up because you can't see it because it's a little blind. And then making sure all this fits. A little bit of a challenge, not too bad. We got the O2 sensors plugged back in, so now we're gonna get this cleaned up, drop the bike, install the fuel pack app on our phone, turn the bike over, make sure there's no exhaust leaks, sync up the app, go take it for a ride and start the auto tuning procedure. So let's do it. All right guys, new pipe, filter, everything put on. We're gonna start it up and see if we can connect it to the fuel pack, but let's hear how she sounds. Definitely much more thunderous. A lot of more bass to it. Let's see, Bluetooth connected. Okay, great. It's downloading new firmware. Install. The best part about this is if there's an exhaust leak, it's a Harley. It doesn't really matter. Cool. That's it. All right, guys, so we had some small weirdness with the FP3. First couple maps we tried to put on were corrupted or didn't want to go through. We just flashed the bike with the proper map now. Vance and Hines 2-in-1 up sweep with the standard baffle and the high flow filter. I wanted to try just flashing it instead of doing the whole auto tune procedure, just because it's a known map and a known bike. I'm sure it'll be fine. I've done lots of flashes like that before on many other bikes. So yeah, now we hit done, and let's go take it for a ride. All right guys, out in front of Yami Noob HQ with the newly exhaustified and filterified Sportster. This bike is growing on me, man. I gotta say, there is a I don't know, a je ne sais quoi, a sort of charm to these bikes. It was very annoying putting on this exhaust, especially with this little bracket in the back, but overall it's a very simple little install. And I'm excited to try out the 1200 platform with the map and the exhaust and the air cleaner, because we had the 1275 Sportster that we built, and that thing was super rowdy, and I'm curious to see how this bike's going to feel. Let's go ahead and fire her up, shall we? Had the Rockform vibration dampener on there because I thought I was going to use my phone, but I'm actually not going to use it. Go ahead and fire her to life. Yeah, get that real classic potato sound. Can't really find a bike that feels like this in the modern day. And now I'm going to be very careful not to burn my boot. I know y'all gave me a lot of grief whenever I did that on the 883. And guess what? That ain't going to happen on this one, baby. It ain't going to happen on this one. Still, a 1200 still makes a great big rumbly sound, doesn't it? Vibrates like crazy. Just a big lumpy thing, isn't it? I'm totally not dressed like a typical Sportster rider at all right now. Nice power characteristic. Really nice, honestly. So yeah, we got the FP3 fuel map on there from the app for the Vance and Hines 2-in-1 up sweep. We've got the air cleaner, the new air filter right there. We've got the 2-in-1 exhaust, and we got the map on there. So it's all like the traditional kind of Sportster mods, which is pretty sweet. Chose to do the regular flash and not the auto tune because they had exactly the setup that we have on our bike as a flashed map. Thankfully, because so many people modify their Sportsters, you can find a map really easily, and it's exactly what we were looking for. So it was the 2018 Sportster 1200 with the Vance and Hines 2-in-1 up sweep with the baffle still in it with the air cleaner. So that's exactly what we had, and it feels really good. I'm checking to see it right now and kind of off throttle, lowering the revs if I'm getting any weird kind of lumpy, rumbly sort of things, if it feels linear and smooth. And I mean, it's a Harley, so it doesn't feel that linear and smooth, but overall, I'm really pleased with the results. We've got a bike that sounds a lot more aggressive, kind of fits that character of the Harley Sportster.
And I gotta say, over the 883, the 1200 definitely has a lot more get up and go. Definitely feels like a quote-unquote real bike. The 883 was so limited in what it could do. I felt like the 883 really didn't make a lot of sense, which is why we ended up 1275 swapping it. But this 1200 motor in here feels really nice. A lot of torque, broad spread of torque, and just a really classic kind of character that you don't find this anywhere nowadays. Already getting some nice gold effects on the pipe over here. And it's just cool sitting here and this whole thing's kind of shaking. Yeah, I might be growing into this thing, man. I might finally be evolving. I like it. Like, I think the 1200 is a really different experience over the 883. And I know a lot of you guys told me that on the 883. I remember y'all like, ride the 1200. It is better. It's still like, you gotta temper your expectations and work around it and really work with this bike. You can't pretend like it's something it's not. But at the end of the day, it's pretty good for what it is. Makes a cool sound. I think it still makes all of like maybe 70 horsepower, so you know, it makes like SV650 power and it weighs about 140 pounds more, so it's not a rocket ship, guys, but I don't think anyone's riding a Sportster for it to be a rocket ship. That's nice. That's a lot better than stock. That feels really great. Breathes a lot better. I will say too, if you're into this thing, like a loud, blacked out, stripped back bike like the Sportster, it's pretty cool. I'll give it to it. It's pretty neat. You know, again, if you're into this sort of thing, a lot of people aren't. Totally understand it. Totally respect that. But I really kind of get it now. I get it why some people have, you know, 3 bikes in the stable and one of them's a Sportster. Caught neutral with this absolute toaster gearbox. It certainly doesn't sound like anything I've really ever ridden. This super low compression, lumpy engine. Yeah, it's unique, man. That's cool. And I'm not putting it on for the video, guys. I'm kind of growing to like this bike. It's really nice. I think we got to actually get it on the highway and see how it performs kind of in the upper registers. Suspension's still it's not enough travel. Kind of just not what you'd expect from a modern bike, but it's not a modern bike, so I have to always kind of remember that. Because right now it's like, why did I just almost bottom out going a little undulation? But it's a Sportster. It's going to feel a little rough and tumble. This pipe with the baffle in it too is the right amount of loud. Like, it's proper loud, don't get me wrong. It's very loud. But when you're on the bike, earplugs in, really nice rumble to it. The fact that Shade Tree Surgeon off-roaded one of these is just out of control. Alright guys, getting her on the highway here. Trying to see how this Sportster fares. Higher up in the revs. It feels great, man. Like, that's a really good flash that we got done on this thing. I'm really happy with that. It's just a classic thing with these bikes. You clean them up with a few mods and they really shine. I was kind of joking on camera earlier where I was like, it's like when you take a person who's not very fit and you get them started on an exercise and a diet regime, you see gains really fast, right? Or like when someone starts weightlifting, you see gains really fast. The Sportster's kind of like that, in that, you know, you'll see gains really quickly because, you know, it's such a compromised motorcycle to begin with that you do any little thing to change and you're like, whoa, that's a big improvement, which is really cool. So 4th gear here, we'll click up into 5th. That's its top gear. Cruising on the highway with the new exhaust and the flash. Yeah, I'm not noticing anything strange or anything that I would feel like needs to be tuned out, and it's making really good power. I can't really complain. Also, for the ease of use, I mean, I plugged in a 6-pin connector on the side of this bike for the fuel pack, and then I downloaded an app on my phone and I had the thing flashed. You can't really find that anywhere. Most ECU flashes are, you got to take the computer out, ship it off to somewhere, they do the magic to it, and then it eventually comes back to you. It's definitely not that easy, but this was really cool. So I think this was a great success, guys. We've got the exhaust and the air filter sorted on the Sportster now. I'm really happy with it. And man, I think she's all ready to take to the track. What do you guys think? Should I take this thing out on track, see if it can beat the Royal Enfield's times? The geometry is massively compromised on this thing for a track day special. The Royal Enfield is definitely closer to a more neutral seating position and everything else, but I'm curious to see what kind of times I can pull on the old 1200 Sportster. You guys let me know down below if you want to see that video. Thanks so much for checking this one out. We got more mods coming for this Sportster. Remember, all the stuff we put on this bike you can actually buy over on shop.yamadube.co. We got an awesome year, make, and model feature where you can actually purchase shocks and exhausts and air cleaners and all kind of great stuff for your Sportster. We have a brake upgrade that's coming soon. I believe we have different lines we're going to be putting on, rotors and pads, trying to increase the braking performance a little bit. And I can't remember the other stuff, but maybe we'll do a little bit of suspension work in the front to match the rear now. Could be nice. And then we'll kind of go from there. If y'all have any comments around what we should be doing to this motorcycle, let me know down below. If you have any suggestions for things you'd like to see on the Sportster 1200 giveaway bike. But with all that being said, guys, I'm going to battle this traffic here a little bit back to Yamadube HQ. We'll catch you in the next one. See you later.